Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you another set of action movie reviews, and this time we're going to be talking about Gamer, starring Gerard Butler and Michael C. Hall, alongside Lucky Day, released last year, starring Luke Bracey and Nina Dobrev. And finally, we're going to be talking about I Am Omega with Mark Dacascos, and Absolution, starring Steven Seagal.
Meeting my icon, Catherine Isabel.
Bloody Jacob for sexy, awesome, exclusive content.
Better subscribe and watch my friend on the YouTube channel. He is kicking ass.
Fuck with me and my friends! I'm after my family! Get in!
That sounds like a warning.
It's an invitation.
Mwah.
I apologize for the change of quality and sort of angle yet again. I did say I was going to be recording on my phone last time I did an actual video. But, you know, my phone, it is better quality, but for some reason it takes a hell of a lot longer to upload. And with my QMRs, I feel like those are quick enough videos anyway. And usually my QMRs, I usually just do, you know, pictures and talk. You know, I usually don't appear on camera. But it is what it is with that. And still getting some things arranged in the old man cave. And yes, this is a basement. Get that out of the way. But it's just a convenient space to put a bunch of my stuff and everything. And you get a little bit more of a peek at my setup here. You know, Punisher, Thomas Jane poster over the TV. Some celeb pics. That's my TV shelf over there. My signed Ash vs. Evil Dead poster. Some other things. Right here is like my miscellaneous movie shelf, drama, that kind of thing. And again, I'll give you more of a look at that later. I apologize if you guys see any of the mess, like the posters I still gotta put up or find space for and such, but it's really coming together nicely. I mean, I do gotta say, you know, not too bad, not too bad. Give you another little peek just for a second. Alright. But yeah, so that's it for me on camera. I just wanted to introduce it like that. First up, we're going to be talking about Gamer, starring Gerard Butler. This was released in 2009 from some of the same people behind the movie Crank. Also stars Michael C. Hall, yes, Dexter Morgan himself. You also have Terry Crews in this, alongside Amber Valletta and Logan Lerman. Also Ludacris. But yeah, according to IMDb, it's a future mind-controlling game. Death row convicts are forced to battle in a Doom-type environment. Convict Cable, controlled by Simon, a skilled teenage gamer, must survive 30 sessions in order to be set free. And yeah, this movie was pretty fun. I liked it quite a bit, mostly because I fucking love Gerard Butler at this point. I think he is one of the greatest martial arts, or excuse me, not martial arts. I have my mind on something else, but just action stars in general we have right now. I think he's one of the best in the past couple decades of any specific action genre. He just really has a believability and conviction to him. Pretty much every movie he's in, not only with the Fallen franchise, movies like this as well as like Law Abiding Citizen. And this is a movie I should have watched some time ago. You know, this sort of basic concept has been done before. You know, supposed bad men forced to you know, fight for survival against the other. But I still thought that this movie had a unique enough spin with the video game, sort of perspective, with the basically them being used as puppets for greed and enjoyment and stuff like that, which isn't that far from how I feel like we would act if we could. So I like that. And you have the prisoners fighting for their lives and everything, and you have others who are basically controlled like Sims. So yeah, the action is pretty good. It's pretty frantic, pretty fast paced. There's really no wasted time in this movie. There's plenty of bloody war-torn type shootouts. Although I do think the editing is kind of fast sometimes. It can be a bit choppy at others. But still, a hell of a lot of shootouts, and when there are fisticuffs, when there's hand-to-hand action, it is pretty hard hitting. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Gerard Butler, I think, gives a pretty good performance here as well for what he has. And Michael C. Hall, Dexter, one of my favorite shows of all time. He can make for a great villain, and I think he is good here. Although I don't think his southern accent is necessary, it was still really enjoyable to see him have so much fun and just relish the role. So I think Dexter's, or excuse me, Michael C. Hall's character, Ken Castle, or whatever his name was, is actually one of the more memorable villains I've seen in a while. I know I said I wasn't going to appear on camera again, but here I am. I have Gamer on Blu-ray here, and yeah, it's worth it to add to my ever-expanding Gerard Butler collection. Yeah, so I guess I'm appearing on camera again, deal with it. I'm sorry if the webcam audio is out of sync, but again, for some reason this still uploads faster than my phone, so I guess I'm still going to use this once in a while, at least, but we'll see. But yeah, let me see if I can straighten this. For some reason I don't feel like it's quite... maybe good enough. But yeah, the next up, of course, we're going to be talking about Lucky Day, starring Nina Dobrev, as well as Luke Bracey, Crispin Glover, Cleve Bennett, and Clifton Collins Jr., co-writer of Pulp Fiction and producer of True Romance. And it's about Red, a safecracker who has just been released from prison. He's trying to hold his family together as his past catches up with him in the form of Luke, a psychopathic contract killer who's seeking revenge for the death of his brother. And yeah, I got this movie on DVD. Maybe I should have gotten a Blu-ray, but I do have it on DVD. I should have watched this a long time ago, and I finally did get it for a very certain reason. Miss Nina Dobrev here, the ravishingly talented actress that, yeah, I have a little crush on. Loved her on Vampire Diaries, and now I seek out any project she works on. I'm still happy to see her getting all these roles left and right. She is the best part of Xander Cage, in my opinion. She's just really likable, and she commits to any role she has. And she's the reason I watched this. Although I do like Luke Bracey as well. He was even decent not too long ago in a pretty overlooked war film called Danger Close, starring Travis Fimmel from Vikings. And he's likable here too. He has a charisma to him. And again, this movie, you can tell by the co-writer and producer credit there. It's very much like a comedic, crime thriller kind of thing, a little bit pulpy, almost like Tarantino-esque as well in its style. Well, obviously, I mean, Pulp Fiction and such, but well, what am I saying? You know what comparisons I'm trying to make here. I'm just getting it scrambled. But this one wasn't too bad. I mean, I wasn't blown away necessarily, but it did what I was expecting it to and watching it for. There's plenty of bloody violence to it. Not everyone survives. It has a good, sort of unsteady, energy to it, which you kind of want that, at least semblance of unpredictability in the kind of movie this is. And you're really not sure, who's actually going to make it, or who's going to catch a bullet, or who's going to be brutally killed by this, contract killer. So I like that. Nina Dobrev has like a French accent on this, which is fine, and she doesn't do a terrible job with it. So I love seeing her, especially all these actors sort of get their spotlight it almost plays like an ensemble at times, which is fine. So yeah, I actually quite liked it. Both Gamer and Lucky Day I gave like an 8 out of 10 on IMDb, and I'm sticking to that. If I had to get specific, I did like Gamer a bit more, so I'd give that between like an 86, 88%. Lucky Day, I'd give like an 85, I'd say, right there. So yeah, next up we're going to be talking about I Am Omega. I do not own this movie yet, but I actually do have the DVD on the way. Mark Dacascos I consider to be one of the most talented martial arts action stars I've ever seen, in terms of his athletic ability, his technique and skill, and his likability as an actor. Fantastic. His movie Only the Strong I consider to be one of the greatest straight up martial arts movies of all time. And I've been going through his filmography for quite some time now, and I Am Omega is an interesting one, made by Asylum, of course released within the same year as I Am Legend. I love that movie, by the way. Will Smith is great in that. I also love the original book, I Am Legend. The movie ended up being different, but I still really loved it. And I Am Omega is basically playing off of that. There's a lot of different story points are obviously like I Am Legend and everything, but there's actually a little bit some different elements to it that may diversify it a little bit to make it stand out on its own if you actually do want to watch a film. So it does separate itself just a bit. Like in this though, Mark Dacascos' character has lost his his wife and kid and everything like that. There is a German Shepherd in it, but seems to have already passed or been killed, unfortunately. But he has like a special picture of it over his fireplace or whatever it is, or his mantle. A very cherished memory. So kind of playing on how big of a concentration that was in the actual movie. And of course, you get Mark Dacascos' character living on his own, having an elaborate system set up and everything like that. Playing on the trauma of him being alone and him having like these, visions and thinking things aren't real and such. So playing on the psyche a bit. Sometimes you don't know whether to take it seriously or not. I mean, it's Asylum, so probably not. But at times it feels like they're trying to sell something that doesn't quite work. The screenplay was written by Jeff Mead, who actually was with Mark Dacascos in Kickboxer 5. He's one of the baddies here who meets up with the Dacascos. He got this woman he had made contact with on one of the virtual chats, because she apparently has some kind of immunity in her blood. So then they go on a trip to find her. Dacascos is really likable here. He doesn't get to do as much martial arts as you think, but he still comes across like a badass, and he throws a really strong kick against Jeff Mead at the end. It looks really good. Big blood spurt out of the mouth and everything. Jeff Mead, he has fun in the role, you can tell. The zombies, the creatures themselves, are definitely more so zombies in this. Are pretty good. They sort of remind me of that Catherine Isabel movie 13 Eerie, if you guys have seen that, which you probably haven't. They're a little bit, kind of bulky, a little bit kind of oddly proportioned and such, slightly fast. I want to say there's too much that stands out about them, but they're fine. They functioned for the film. You can tell it definitely has a lower budget, because they do spend a lot of time in like the rural woods, and then when they do get into the city, they're on like the outskirts of it, so it's a lot of smaller buildings. Although you get to the big ones eventually, like big parking garage areas and such, and mostly sewers and that kind of thing, which is fine. It still worked. There's a good feeling of isolation. The coloring was a bit weird. Very kind of this lot of like grays and like that tan, vaguely green beige color and everything. It's a little draining to look at, I guess, a little bland. But I've seen a lot of movies of that genre go for that sort of look, and so it is what it is with that for an apocalyptic film. I didn't have a bad time with it though. I found it pretty enjoyable, and it is probably mostly because of Mark Dacascos. I was paying attention because I had him throughout the whole movie, and I don't regret buying it. If I'd rate it though, honestly, it's like 75, 77%. That's probably being generous for Dacascos' sake, but I didn't think it was a bad film. And finally, we're going to be talking about Absolution, starring Steven Seagal, which was released in 2015, also known as Mercenary Absolution, also starring Byron Mann and Vinnie Jones. And yeah, I do have the Blu-ray of that right here, actually. If you guys have watched my videos, you guys know my mixed relationship with Sensei Steven Seagal here. Although I do like a good chunk of his movies more than I've let on before, and I do like Steven Seagal. I'll be honest about it. At least on camera, I am in the mood for him at times. Off camera is different. Although that's mixed as well lately. It is again directed by Keone Waxman, and they've actually had quite a few decent outings together. Like every outing they had is decent. From Driven to Kill and A Dangerous Man, different movies like that. As well as like The Keeper and such. I think The Keeper was a Waxman thing, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Good. That's right. Vinnie Jones makes for a pretty intense, unnerving villain. I really like how they introduce him. It definitely sets you on edge. But then you don't see him until like the last 10 minutes, final act of the movie, and then in typical Seagal movie fashion, he is disposed of like any idiot. So it takes away any sort of uncertainty with him or threat. But that is what it is. Like, Seagal is always invincible, apparently, and unstoppable. I just don't get why Steven Seagal wouldn't want to show that he can get beat down and still come back, face adversity and rise above it, withstand it, and then beat the crap out of him anyway. But no, he doesn't really get hit at all, and he throws around Vinnie Jones like a rag doll, makes him look like a little boy or something, And that's funny to a point, but that's pretty much every Seagal movie. But nonetheless, I liked it. It was okay. Byron Mann does get a lot of screen time in it, which is good. He doesn't get enough credit, so I did like the dynamic him and Seagal had. The sort of banter, but just connection they had was actually more believable than I thought it would be. They had worked together before, like Into the Sun and such. So they obviously don't mind each other, as far as I know. Seagal does try to give himself more of a character in this. He acts the same way, but his character is, wanting absolution. He's wanting to do one good thing before he dies, even if he dies in the process of doing it. Seagal is so proud of that line. But, they gave the character a bit more to chew on, I guess, than a typical Seagal movie, at least by a little bit. A little bit. Fight scenes are okay, the shootouts are decent. It is what it is, but not a bad film. I think it was alright. So yeah, let me know guys thought about it. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like, subscribe, and if I had to rate Absolution, I'd bump it up. I'd give it like a 78%, maybe 80, but I don't know if I'm there. Let me know guys thought about it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like, subscribe, which I already said, so please do it. And I need to go to bed. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.